In this problem, we want to divide two rational expressions, which is called finding the quotient of the expressions. So to do that, it helps to start by rewriting this in terms of a multiplication problem. So just like when we're dividing regular fractions, you're going to multiply by the reciprocal. Another way we can think about this is we keep the first fraction, so v squared minus v minus 42 over 7v plus 56. Then we change it to a multiplication problem, and then we flip the second fraction. So this is now times 5v plus 40 is on the top instead of the bottom, over negative v squared plus 3v plus 28. So now that we have done this conversion from a division problem to a multiplication problem, we can proceed just like we did when we were multiplying our rational expressions. So let's start by going ahead and doing some factoring. So when we're looking, first of all, at v squared minus v minus 42, we're looking for two numbers that multiply to negative 42, but add to negative 1. In this case, that means that our numbers are negative 7 and positive 6. So this factors to v minus 7 times v plus 6. We can repeat our factoring plan with our next one, which is 7v plus 56. Here, we just have a greatest common factor of 7, so we will pull out the 7 from both terms, leaving us with v plus 8 inside of the parentheses. Now we're going to multiply by our second fraction. Just like the bottom of the first fraction, the top of our second fraction just has a greatest common factor. In this case, that's going to be a 5. When we pull a 5 out of 5v plus 40, we're left with v plus 8. Now, let's take a look at this final component here, this negative v squared plus 3v plus 28. Since that leading coefficient is a negative, we want to treat it that way, where we are actually pulling that negative 1 out before we do anything else. If we factor out negative 1, we have v squared minus 3v minus 28. From here, we're going to be able to treat the inside of the parentheses the same way we did with our blue piece up on the top of the first fraction and say, okay, well, what two numbers multiply to negative 28 but add to negative 3? So that's going to be a minus 7 and a positive 4, because negative 7 times 4 is negative 28, and negative 7 plus 4 is negative 3. So we can copy this down to the bottom of this fraction. And now you can think of it essentially as one fraction and see, is there anything that cancels? Well, in fact, there are multiple things. V minus 7 is going to cancel on the top and the bottom. Similarly, v plus 8 is going to cancel on top and bottom. This leaves us with v plus 6 and the 5, which I'm going to put in front here on the top. On the bottom, we see that we have a 7 and a negative 1. When we multiply those together, we end up with negative 7, and then we still have our v plus 4 as well. Because negatives are going to be either in front of the fraction or at the top of the fraction in our standard form, we're going to rewrite this as negative 5 v plus 6 over 7 v plus 4. And that is our final solution to the quotient of rational expressions problem seen here.